Welcome, welcome. Tanya and Norma with Adventures for Connection. We're so grateful to be here on this calendar final day of the year. And we just want to wish you all the very best wherever you are in the world. Let us know in the chat where you are. We'd love to hear. I see Tango's in, and he's, of course, over there on Vancouver Island, so very close by. And I'm sure Cindy's here somewhere, and we'll hear from her in a second. She's always on. Yeah. So we're live on Facebook, YouTube, actually 2 on Facebook, both on Adventures for Connection and for Tanya Powell, and then over on Rumble as well as YouTube. And today's message is super important, but while we wait for a few more to come in, hi, Cindy. Well, she says, hi, Phoenix. As in Phoenix, you must have been tapping into what we've been tapping into.
So much.
Lots of laughter, lots of fun, and some really big information coming in at the moment. So I wanted to share first, though, here's what we're moving into and what is needed from everyone at this time. It's the Lover's card, and it's not necessarily representative of a relationship, although it is a relationship. It is as much representative of the masculine and the feminine, the divine, and it balancing. This is the second time this card's come up this week. And so it's a really important message because we're all masculine and we're all feminine, and we have that within us to actually balance it out. And when you balance that out, it's much easier to then connect with source, so to speak. Yeah. Happy fake New Year's to you. Hi, I'm Bob. Hello, Arlene. Good to see you. Yes. Hello, Freedom Liberty Lover. Thank you guys for coming so much. And then the second card for today is the King of Cups. And he's one of the more powerful cup cards. You can see there's a lot of blue in that card and a lot of gray. So the unconscious is involved here. And right now we're bringing what's unconscious within us into our consciousness. What needs to be cleared for you. It's been happening for all of us to clear out what no longer serves as we move forward. And cups are about emotions. And so a lot of you are feeling quite emotional lately and have a lot going on. And others of you have flown right by that mostly because you've done some work on that. And you're getting to elevate at this point. So it doesn't matter where you are. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And so go easy on yourself. Have gratitude for how far you've come. And today we really want to chat about this 1, 2, 3. And then, of course, along that comes with that for me, because it's 12/31/23 here. At least that's what we call it. And it's opposite in many other countries. And really, it's as easy as ABC. And then this brought us along to this action, balance, and center. And Norma Jean, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, sure, of course. The song actually really profoundly speaks to the simplicity of what we as human beings are actually mastering to accomplish here, and that's to get back to center. And when we're able to sit with ourselves and actually just, get to know who you are. You've got to know who you are, but you got to know the both spectrums. You got to know those that contrast is what promotes and provides the ability to take the feminine and the masculine, the two hemispheres, and find ways to bring them together to have that beautiful dance we've been speaking about, where they come to a commonality of the understanding of the information that they take in. And what they do is, in that dance, they allow it to become knowledgeable, something that they intertwine with, to let those pieces come together to form that note to each dance that they have. Because this is what brings about the wisdom of the fluidness of the dance that they finally have on any and all subjects that we face each day in the choices that we make and in the experiences in our environment and things like that. So it's definitely hugely important to understand that, the ABC that you spoke to, the action, the balance, the center. Well, the 1, 2, 3 goes with that, because in order to understand what that signifies, you must also have the other part that goes with it too, the 1, 2, 3. And in that, that's your information, knowledge that becomes wisdom over time, as we find that balance within ourselves between the masculine and feminine, the hemispheres. Because what you're doing is you're wanting to take the two hemispheres, have them come together to see the knowledge from both perspectives, where the creativity can sit with the logic and say, I have a picture for your logic. And then that's where the two hemispheres meet in the center. And then you begin to have a better fluid conversation. And that's how, where you talk about the crown of thorns, so to speak, the neurons that are firing. What you're doing is when you're feeling that, you're blending and you're bridging the two. You've created a bridge for the two to find that balance in the creative and in the logical sense of approach to life. So it's this is what brings wholeness. This is what brings the unity of the one.
Absolutely. Hi, Eddie. How are you? And I really think that if we take it back to the beginning again, and so this has come through very strongly today for a purpose and a reason, as Norma would say. There's always a purpose and a reason. We spent hours on this today already, because it was like, oh, it was like ding, 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 ding. And that's what's so beautiful about the ability for Norma to tap into some of this information. And then I'm just like, oh yeah, I knew that. And you just reminded me. And so we're here to help you remember who you truly are. And so no matter what you're going through right now, it's okay. And it's that looking outside of ourselves for the answers or something external to rectify what's not balanced within. And so we're going to go back to the analogy too, the fact that as you come into this world, you are perfect and you are whole as a baby. And then as you get older and age, those conditionings kick in, those beliefs kick in, which has been programmed us to look outside of ourselves for everything, to look to our parents. Oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Right? To look to, and unfortunately the parents are also programmed. So it's this combination of generations and generations of programming that has happened, and that we're ready to like break it all down. Let's go. And so how do we do that? We have to shift and be open in our beliefs, and shift and change and be open to, even though something seems really negative and dark, but when a light is shone on it, that can be the greatest gift. So whether that's within you or outside of you, when we give so much attention to something that's negative, what we're doing is it's something negative within us that needs to be dealt with. So what is it bringing to light for you? What is that bringing in light for you? And so do you want to add to that, Norma? Because I know something's kicking in.
Yeah. It's a beautiful process when you begin to understand that there's what we utilize as information is either going to come with with facts that can be something that can be seen or understood, as opposed to a belief. Okay, because belief is something that you put in self as to your ability to implement something, to enact something, to have that belief so strong that you can manifest something. But when you take a system that gives you beliefs, then really that's where you must be able to step outside and ask yourself from that belief system, how much truth comes with this belief? Is it something that is being, passed on because there's something to it that gives me something to propel myself with? Or is it something that is of a commonality, of a commonness that is utilized for us to be herded somewheres?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we go through this life and we go through all of these experiences. And as Norma was saying, those beliefs are important to accept that they're not fact, they're a belief. And you can upgrade those beliefs and upgrade those thoughts and find your center point, which is within you, and be willing to look at things that make you uncomfortable. Because once you do that, and once you can see the truth of it for you and how, oh, I believe that because of this in my childhood, or I believe this because of that in my childhood, right? And then once you see it in a new perspective, it's like, oh, we can let that one go now. It's no longer important. It doesn't serve me anymore. Hello, Terry Bielman. Very nice to see you here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting some comments here. Hello, Eddie. That's why I feel healthy, Norma. So true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful, once we're able to provide the information and use it wisely in how you utilize it in this life, because the body is so connected to understanding that once you hit that point of knowledge and it becomes wisdom, you've embodied it. And in that embodiment, you are healing yourself, because it starts here. It starts here, because you have to understand that it has to take place here, because this is your meeting place for the three. Okay. This is your meeting place. That's the reason why it goes, for the most part, spirit, mind, body, spirit, mind, where the consciousness lies, or where the consciousness sits, where the consciousness meets. And in that, bringing the two together to form that balance where the synapses begin to change, it's conditioning, or it's programming, or where belief can be altered or changed to be something that propels you to understand how that belief can change. Because that's the thing about beliefs. It doesn't mean that they are solid or they have to be concrete. It just means belief is just as changeable as we are, as we propel in our understanding of ultimately who and what we are. And that's energetically powerful beings.
Oh, and so much more powerful than we'd love to believe. The things we've come into in the last 3 days has been insane. Now, we don't want to overwhelm you, so we're going to keep this really focused for you. And steps to do this, where to start. So first place to start is maybe write down everything that's bothering you, right? And just mull it over a bit and see what the emotion is behind that. And maybe, can you tap back to where it came from? Can you tap back into where it came from? Now, don't relive the experience from the person getting the experience, but relive it from the observer perspective. And again, we go back to that being the observer, because then when we're observing, we're not absorbing, or we're not attaching so much to it, and then giving our energy and power away to a past event, to an event happening somewhere in the external world that it's not right in front of us to know if it's true, but we're being told this is true. And so we can look at that now and have a little more objectivity, which meaning we're just observing, oh, I'm aware of that, but I'm not going to give my attention to it. My energy is my energy, and I'm going to hold my energy here. So for anything that's niggling you or bugging you, and then on the flip side of that, and I love to burn those things that I don't want to list, and once I've moved through things, to just let it go. And, you can always body dose about this stuff. Is there something else I need to look at here? And if you have some questions about body dosing, let me know. Absolutely, please. And then we have this ability to also speak. Your word is a vibration. It is a frequency. My voice is a frequency. I can only speak truth with this voice. I can't lie with this voice. It's not in my being. I must speak my truth no matter what the outcome might be. It is critical for me. And as soon as something or someone starts to make me feel smaller, it's like, oh, I need to call my energy back again, right? I need to, what's going on? What did I do? How did I interact with, oh, I'm allowing this to happen. So then therefore I've got to claw my energy back to me again, not claw in a negative way, but call my energy back to me, right? And that's really, really important. And there's another thing I can't do with this frequency, and I challenge you all for the month of January, try this and see how you feel different. We would love to hear about this. No criticizing, no negativity, thoughts, words, actions. No criticizing, no negativity, and no complaining. Because guess what? When you complain, you're going to get more of that. So if we only find something to compliment someone on, even if you really want to criticize, turn it around. Find something to compliment them on, or even yourself. So if something negative comes into your thought pattern, oh, I'm so grateful that I'm this way. And that thought is not my thought. And flick it away. That thought is not my thought. So we're here to pull the weeds and plant these seeds, and not unlike the garden that we spoke about last time. Oh, that was in the newsletter. So those of you who are not signed up for the newsletter, if you go to the website on www.adventuresforconnection, adventuresforconnection.com, and it should be below wherever you're watching anyway, and sign up for the newsletter. It's going out once a week. It's either done in video or written, and it's not on other platforms. So that's just part of our, hey, if you're following us here, it'll also keep you up to date on events, courses or classes that we're going to be offering. And I know we have one for fight or flight coming up starting on the 4th. Some of you are in that. Great. We look forward to playing with you more there and getting you to see things from another perspective. All right. So there's a whole video in there about this discussion. Thank you, Monroe. She's Monroe on Rumble, but she's Norma Jean here. Or Norma Jean. He likes to call you. I think I might have started that. So no criticizing, no negativity, no complaining. So if somebody isn't behaving the way you would like and you don't want to engage with them, call your energy back. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to have boundaries around your energy. Really need to preserve your energy. Now be as polite as possible. Oh, thank you for the invite. I already have plans. You may have plans just to sit with yourself, right? And that's a plan. That's okay. And make sure you like, share, follow, all those good things. I have to get better about asking for that. Yeah, absolutely. And if you do that for the month, I'm really curious what might shift for you, because every time something, we like to call them statements. Oh, this is a statement that I'm feeling about this versus a complaint, because I'm taking responsibility for how I'm feeling. So if you always take responsibility for how you feel, then it's a statement more than it is oh, this is making me feel this way. Why is this making me feel this way? When I say it out loud, I'm getting different information coming in. I hope that's helpful. Someone was telling me to lie to manifest something in my life, and the devil card popped in my head, and I was like, no way, I can't do that. Good for you, Cindy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. You are so much more and so much more talented. These words, these songs, these intuition hits, the more you follow these little nudges, the more you're going to get. And sometimes it's like a whack on the top of the head. It's so strong. Yeah. So let's add some more to this about the numbers and the 1, 2, 3, because there's a lot around these 3 numbers, even around the 3, 6, 9. Yeah. So let's stay on track. Go ahead, Norma.
Sure, of course. Like, as we was talking today and, discussing all because the information it's just, for me, because I'm taking in so much information, but understanding that the information I'm taking in must come from a source that I trust, that resonates. It has to. If it does not, I'm not going to watch it, because not everything that I watch do I resonate with. I'm so down to just small, areas or people or places that I draw my information from now.
Let me guess. It's 1, 2, 3 people.
You're probably right at this point. I can name 3 of them right now, and it's beautiful and it's profound. So, and this is understanding that when we begin something, we begin from a point. That's what the 0 represents. The 0 is a starting point for everything. Okay. That's the reason why it's not really utilized as, that's the reason why it can be negated. It's because it's a starting point. So your starting point is always basically what you call your clean slate. It's a place to begin from, no matter where you are, that you seek to change things. From there, you move to one, which is gathering the information. In that gathering the information, metaphorically, we can relate this to how we go about create or preparing a garden. So in that, as we are preparing that garden, we must choose the seeds in which we wish to plant. That's your information. You must use discernment because you have originality and then you have the rest. So sometimes you have to put in that effort. You have to put in that that drive to go as far as you can until you just can't anymore in that information to understand the fullness, in order to know that when you get ready to plant those seeds, you have a balance. So that way, if you put like more tomatoes than you do cucumbers, what's going to happen? Tomatoes are going to usually take more of the nutrients and the vitamins and the water, and the cucumbers are going to suffer. So they're not going to yield a fruit. This is the fruit that you are wanting to yield, and it's very vitally important, the seeds that you choose to plant, which then leads to the number 2, where as we are planting these seeds, we're coming from a state and a place that we want truth, we want honesty, and as we are gathering this information, you do it out of the fullness of the love of self, because it has to begin there. You got to have a love to want to know the truth and the honesty of who you really are. So in this process and period, basically, this is where, as you're taking that information, you're cultivating, which means in the metaphorical level, as you're tending to your garden, you're keeping those weeds pulled that may show up that you just might not have gotten, that might be rooted pretty good in there. But do the best you can as you go through and you're cultivating, pull those weeds up by the root, because that's the reason why you're cultivating, because you're recognizing things that keep coming back that you might not have uprooted from the soil. And in that cultivation, you're keeping it aerated, you're keeping the soil turned. That way, when you get ready to pull that weed, it won't be so difficult. So this is where we gain our knowledge. Then we move to 3. In 3, this is where you continue to stay in that love. And as you're tending to that garden, this is where the patience you have with yourself as you are going through this and you're tending and you're cultivating, that's where love will ultimately be more of that assistance in the understanding of being patient with the bearance of the fruit that comes from the tending of your garden, which turns into wisdom, which you embody because you take in the fruits of your labor.
Does that make sense? So everyone just who might be just joining, we're talking about the importance of 1, 2, 3 and how that breaks down into like ABC, and then talking about the relation to action, balance, and center within. So whenever we're looking for something, and that was beautifully put, nailed it. We've been chatting this one back and forth as well, and how to best convey the information as easy as possible for those that maybe don't even know what we're talking about. And I just want to reiterate that it's all about that, realizing that it's what your truth is within is more important than any truth outside of you. Any truth. Yeah, Cindy says, nice, Norma. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And as we get through this, these next steps of evolution, we're coming to understand more and more, not just about that, but how important the body relates even to astrology. I've been saying for a while now, and maybe some of you have heard me, where I go see an acupressurist, and every week she tells me, oh, this organ needs some love, or this organ needs some love. And I'm like, what's going on the planet? I just kept getting that, like, well, whatever's going on up there, it's happening within, because it's the micro and the macro. And so we're seeking somebody to support us if you know of anybody really good about astronomy and where the planets are now. And we're not talking about tropical astrology, because I don't think that resonates for us. We want to know exactly where they're at and how it can relate to us. This goes also to your moon time and the rising of the Christ oil within the body. Like, this is all interconnected. And as I do this, go ahead.
Sorry, there was an interruption. So,
yeah, triangle comes to mind. Absolutely. Oh, like a pyramid.
what happens when you take a triangle? You get your information, and what happens with a triangle if you get the sides in balance, but you start with the information and it starts to spin. Then you get to knowledge. Then what happens? It start that spin even faster. And then when you hit it, and then you become that wisdom. Then all they do is you take off, and it forms that balance in that triangle. All the geometry and the math, is profound.
Right. And also there's the masculine and the feminine. They're two triangles. And what happens when they're balanced? That's a whole nother show right there. Right? With the sacred geometry. Yeah. Yeah. No, you guys are amazing. You've been picking up what we're putting down, so to speak. Yeah. And so as we go into this new year, not only with the challenge that I've given you, and a reminder, no criticizing, no negativity, and no complaining. Catch yourself. Oh, I do that, because quite often we're not conscious of it because we're too used to the patterns in our life. And so we're asking you to slow down and become really conscious, not just of the criticizing, the negativity, and complaining, but are you hearing somebody else behave this way all the time? Is there somebody else that is constantly like this that maybe you need a break from? Maybe, right? It's okay to have a break. It's also okay to call them out a little bit on it. Oh, hey, I noticed this about you. Have you noticed that? Is something going on for you? Because you're not normally like that. Yeah. You can do it in a really kind, loving way. Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to, and I don't listen often, but I like Greg Braden. I was listening to him on Next Soul podcast, and I got 5 minutes in, and it was like my whole body went, you're not listening to this. And I was like, okay. So it was quite interesting, and it was a good message. It was about the collective and the war and what's going on with, but it wasn't for me to listen to. So, and that's okay. So I know right away to pull my energy back from things. That you're not watching that. And so it's good. It's really good to, how does this person make me feel when they're speaking? And everything resonates around that. That's the only thing that I will kind of follow now, is how does it make me feel? How does this food make me feel? Okay, I have a confession. I had too much sugar over the holidays. I know how it makes me feel. And that's okay. Yeah, because I claimed it. I said last Christmas, with these kind of events going on, I'm going to have my shortbread and I'm going to have my chocolate. And then it wasn't even a full week. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah. So get out and move your body, have more fruit. Yeah. Back to basics. You're doing a fast again. And we can tap more into too around this, your moon sign and where that is. And I have this new really huge respect right now for the planets. Ever since that Beetlejuice thing was going on, and all these new little things going on, and the fact that not only are we made of stardust, there's more to that as well. So there's a lot more to this realm than we've been led to believe. But for today, we really want to teach you how to observe what you're taking in. What does it bring up for you? You're not responsible for how other people react, but you may be triggering them, and that's okay too. But that is the gift of learning, because someone else will trigger me on something if I need to learn something. Yeah. Absolutely. Norma?
Yeah, they always tell you that it takes anywhere between 21 to 27 days to change a habit. And our habits are formed because of what we experienced and what we were taught, and 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 of course, we have the situation where we were being conditioned to a degree because of the programming that was being placed, that was in front of us, that we didn't really know was taking place for us. And so that's it's like that's the reason why we're speaking to what we're speaking to as far as where the garden metaphor is concerned. Because you see, it's easy to use something as a metaphor that's outside you, because for the most part, when you come to understand a lot of this, you'll begin to see the metaphors that are there. But those metaphors are just a mirror of the things that you'll begin to understand within. Okay. And so as you go through and you have that starting point and you begin to plant the seeds, to cultivate, to do what needs to be done to tend to that garden, because you find yourself so invaluable, that you find yourself so beautiful and wonderful, that you love yourself to that place where that garden that you're tending to is so tended to that by the time it gets ready to yield that fruit, you won't have to tend as much or for as long as time goes by. Because when you begin to challenge yourself by placing, by changing some of these habits with something that is going to propel you, something that's going to raise your vibratory state, something that's going to help you understand what frequency really feels like, because your frequency goes before you, which helps in your vibratory state. So that's the reason why it's, this new place coming in. I think it's a beautiful way to start the new year off, so to speak, with something in mind that is very much a very self-centered place to start from, because we all know the levels and degrees of good self-center and not so good self-center. Either way, what's important is you putting the time aside for yourself as much as possible to sit and to cultivate yourself, because it's what you're doing. You're cultivating so you can get back to the level of the soil that was originally there, that will always produce. Is getting rid of that top layer that has been placed there, over the years, because of the distractions that were placed before us. Because anything outside of you is just a distraction if you're not using it for just a mirror, because it's a metaphor. It's the most important thing is always, always, always first, time for self.
Yeah. Even if it's for a minute to start, or maybe it's 2 minutes, or maybe it's a walk in nature, or maybe as you're doing the dishes, you're observing, because as I speak, I'm not the one speaking. I'm the one observing the speaking. And quite often what I'm saying, I don't know, I'm not thinking about it. It just comes out. So it's just a matter of what needs to be known. Eddie's asking us about the colors. So we're really likening the numbers and the chakras at the moment. Also, there's a whole thing around the days of the week, enealogy. We've got so much information to share. What we don't want to do is overwhelm you by oversharing. And that can be as challenging for me as the next person, because remember, we all get new information. We just want to, but that is not the concise way to get you to understand that information. And so it can be, it can be a bit too much. So yeah, absolutely. Freedom Liberty is saying it's exciting. I'm curious what next December would like compared to this one. Absolutely. Every day has been like quantum jumps lately. Every day has been, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming, or, oh, of course that's going to happen. That makes sense. And so when you have this childlike curiosity about each day, and somebody overreacts, but you already set yourself up to be curious that day, oh, I wonder why they're reacting that way or acting that way. You have a different take, so you're not going to react back. Now you're going to respond, or you're going to go, I'm really sorry you're feeling that way. What's going on for you? Like, you're more empathetic to hear what they have to say versus reacting to them. And so this can be, I'm working on, Cindy says, yes, I'm working on my words and pause before I speak. Absolutely. Even if it means biting the tip of your tongue. Tango's having a reading with an astronomer next week. Very much looking forward to it. Beautiful. I'm very excited for you. We would like to know who that is. If you would like to share and you were happy afterwards, please share it in the group. Yeah, absolutely. And Eddie also says, and this makes sense, a painter can create colors with base colors. It's like a language. I run a painting company. I know all about that. Somebody just said to me the other day, oh, you can pick the black. And I'm like, no. Do you know how many blacks there are? I am not picking your black unless I've got a fan deck there. So yeah. And so I'll come with the fan deck and we'll pick it together. Yeah. So, and back to basics. Yes. Back to that, and it's all it should be is, what is basic for you? Even for foods, there's this basis that one relies upon for flavors, that, you know, you want something crunchy. If I don't have cucumber every other day, I'm not a happy camper. Cucumber is definitely a staple in my diet. Or kimchi or sauerkraut or pickles. I've always got that microbiome thing going on. And so I have some real basics that I make sure, and then it's the sprouted seeds or the raw seeds that I add to the diet. Those are some really good basics for me, whether it's chia seeds, hemp seeds, whatever you like. And, you know, as a byproduct, Norma's eating a lot healthier now.
Now, that is great, you know, because I haven't taken care of this body in quite a while because of still, you know, going through this myself to understand more and more and more. But I had to understand it here first before I could connect it here and embody it. So once you embody the knowledge that you gain from the information over, you know, a period of time, and it becomes wisdom, it's a beautiful thing. And so, you know, that's the reason why it's beautiful that in this, when we allow ourselves to become too logic, then what we do is we make it too complex. So it's always good to get back to the basics of certain things if you can find that information, because for the most part, if we can have that from a standing point of propelment, go for it. Because once we understand the basis and the basics to simple living the life, then we have at least a small foundation to start from, and then we'll understand how to utilize and what information we take in to utilize for the knowledge, which helps propel us into the wisdom that we embody.
And maybe we can tap into ways of, as you're saying that, and beautifully said as usual, different ways of embodying. So you observe the information, right? You analyze the information, right? Maybe from all angles, all perspectives. And I think when you come to peace with it, like, oh, it actually doesn't even matter, then you start to embody it. Or if something doesn't trigger you anymore, what are your thoughts on that, Norma?
Well, that's where the intellect comes into play. To understand what the intellect is about, it's where the meeting place, where somehow, some way, this information, when you tap into areas of your brain, which helps you to understand how to be and how to utilize critical thinking. That's what the intellect does. It brings you either to one of two things to utilize as you're taking that information and using discernment to understand it, to see what is to be utilized for knowledge, is critical thinking or common knowledge. So as we take in this information, that's why I say it's very vitally important where you draw your information from, because information these days is so watered down, so to speak. And I hate to use the word water, but it's about as best I can get with it. But it's been copied over so many times and rewritten that, you know, sometimes we have to go through the muck to get to, you know, the pearl that lays under the muck, to get back to the origin of who we really are. And that's what it takes, doing it from within, is we're doing spring cleaning, so to speak. And we have to take because when you clean that out, that leaves room for you to bring something in. Okay. And the more you clean out, the more you can bring in, the more you can process that information, and quicker you can process that information, because you're not having to walk around all the boxes, all the bags of the things that we carry around because we haven't done anything to either move it out or to release it.
Yeah, absolutely beautifully put. Hi, Deborah. She's been biting her tongue lately too. She's learning. Actually, I had a friend ask me about religion today and my beliefs. I got to talk spirituality and my truths. She didn't agree on all, but I said, that's okay. We're all at different places in our journey. Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many variables within this game of based on our beliefs and our experiences. And the more we can leave the division and come into unity, common unity, doesn't mean we have to agree with everyone. What it means is, oh, interesting perspective. I don't agree with that yet, but tell me more. So you're willing to hear somebody else's perspective with curiosity instead of shunning them and saying, well, your belief's not like mine. Now you're creating division. It doesn't matter that we're all at the very core. We all want the same things. We all come from the same place, and we all deserve to be loved and to be loved. And so it's a matter of also clearing out, not just, I love that, clearing out your baggage, right? Clearing out your home, clearing out your bedroom, clearing out, there's so much clearing out to do in order to allow for the new to come in. Yeah. And allowing that new to come in with a new perspective, so that I'm not blindly accepting somebody else's truth. I'm sitting with it. Oh, that's really interesting. Let me sit with this and see how I feel about it. And when you take that time to literally sit with it, literally, guys, like, we're all moving too quickly. We're all seeking more truth. But the more truth I tried to seek, the less truth I actually knew until I stopped and said, okay, now what is true for me? And what do I believe? And what are my beliefs that are my non-negotiables? If it's not, and I've said this since the beginning of starting Adventures for Connection, if it's not easy, fun, and playful, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this work game. Everything needs to be creative, fun, easy, and playful. And in fact, my entire path on this has been very easy, fun, and playful, because I'm not being reactive anymore, and I'm finding it easier. And I've had so many beautiful people in my life that have taught me so much. Are they in it all the time? No. They come and they go, and it flows, right? Energy is always in motion. Somebody else is going through something else. All right, I'm here when you need me. And it's 6 months later, you chat and you pick up where you left off. And that's okay too. And then I've got somebody like Norma that's now living at my house. And we're constantly reminding each other. And what's really interesting? Can you imagine somebody you don't know well coming to live in your home, and you've got to have that, like, figuring things out and how it's going to work? There was none of that. She's got her own space. She gets what she needs. She gets to be her. I get to be me. Jade gets to be herself. Jade probably had the hardest adjustment. She is younger. And that, somebody's now staying in our home and staying downstairs. And, we're doing this because we have a common mission. And our gifts are very much needed for each other, but also for the collective to work together on this, so that we may show you a new way of operating, a new way of being. Yeah. You want to add to that?
Well, it's about honoring. When I know for myself, when I began this, and I was doing much searching to understand who I was. The one thing that I came to understand, probably, that was probably the most profound change that I implemented, so to speak, was that when somebody spoke, I learned to be quiet and just listen until either there was time for me to respond, or if I was being asked for a reply. So the one thing I began to understand was, all anybody ever wants is to be heard. All anybody ever wants is to be honored in that, the words that they speak, whether we agree with them or like it or, any of that. For the most part, it has nothing to do with us to begin with, because ultimately what they're doing, if they're not moved to that place of projecting at you, they're telling you who they are all the time. If you just listen, if you just listen to hear, they're telling you who they are. Can you stand in that silence and honor that?
When you become the observer, this is what happens. You don't have to express as much as you listen, because listening, the vibration, the energy, the body language will tell you everything you need to know. And it's a good way of increasing your intuitive abilities. Yeah. Yeah. Eddie says trilogy, try Logi, 3 stories logo. Yes, absolutely. 3 times is a reason for us to discover, right? Yeah.
I love it. I love it because what you're beginning to do is you're beginning to see the connections.
Yeah.
Because you're beginning to see how some of the information started getting manipulated, where more and more words or single words started meaning more things. And when you can get through that and understand that words are so vitally important for you to understand how to utilize and use, especially if you can get back to the root of its truth, of its meaning when it was spoken. Because you see, before all this, words did not need to be spoken, because for anything to be written down and for numbers to be utilized other than just to use for just mapping, to add and subtract, it's blasphemous. You see, because when we first came here, we all had the ability to know, for nothing, took us out of that state unless something changed here, where an imbalance took place. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. Thank you, Bengal Tiger. It's beautiful to see that as we're sitting here and we're having this conversation with you, that the ones that sit here with us are able to hear the message being spoken. Sometimes I have a difficulty conveying it. That's what she's here for sometimes, because I can get so wrapped up into the more of the masculine way of delivering the information on that logical and analytical way. So this is where I still find, I'm still finding that balance to be able to utilize the information where both perspectives, both the masculine and feminine, come together in that fluidness. But that's what this is about. She's able to explain things in ways that I can't, not at this moment, but it doesn't mean that I won't find that ebb and flow.
Yeah. Yeah. Eddie is cool. Yes, freedom lover, liberty lover. We are lucky, but it also was a sequence of events. Ding, 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 ding. And then it was a knowing, oh, this is what I'm getting. And then that was it. It was like this reminder. And you will all find that as you move through, that people that the energy resonates with, that you realize. And then as we tap more into, it's like, oh, we're supposed to work together this lifetime in this mission to show, right? So, and that's what I'm grateful for. And I know Norma's grateful too. She's seen more of the world than she's seen in her entire life since hanging out with me. More adventures. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just always remember, first, your energy.
Yeah.
First, you are energy.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah. And Luna, it is a constant reminder. She's saying, I had to learn that again recently. I did not trust my intuition because I love my friend so much. I wanted to believe her. It's a good reminder too that, love is a state of being, right? And when you are in love, I confess, I'm much more likely to trust somebody than to question them as well. And so I totally get that one. Absolutely. And if we can just observe, the more we observe, the more we realize, right? And if I'm not sure, I'll always ask, oh, can I get back to you on that? May I get back to you? As in a name. Okay. He wants us to call him Eddie.
Ah.
I was, because I'm that's a mouthful for me right now. So yeah, so and let's talk a little bit too about what that intuition might be. So those of you not know me know I like to use this, and this is interesting. This came up today as well. Norma's full of information. I'm pretty sure it's her moon sign is activated at the moment, last 2 days. And then I said, oh yeah, watch out, bitch, I'm next.
Flying high.
Right after each other, which is really interesting. Yeah. And that kind of shifts throughout the month. But once you figure that one out, you just start to see, oh, I'm way more tapped in on these days. Oh, I need to sit with myself more on these days. Anyway, so the rod, as Norma was sharing with me earlier, I just do it. I just know what to do. If I'm not getting a dowse this way, I get either body dowse or I will grab the rod, because the rod is reading the energy. So the rod is reading the energy of the room, the situation, what's going on, and
what your toroidal field is picking up.
What my toroidal field is picking up, which means it's not my mind, and it is a way of getting out of my mind. And so is body dowsing for everyone. So in body dowsing, again, we do that stand up straight, and you can hold a crystal in your hand and ask if the crystal is good for you. But you want to put your consciousness here. And then you want to play with that quite a bit. Like, please show me my yes, please show me my no. And then start doing a bunch of questions with it so that you really get confident, and questions you know the answers to, or maybe you don't know the answers to. So, ways of testing yourself.
Yeah.
Because that will build your confidence. And what built my confidence the most in this was going to Egypt and just surrendering to what is. And then a whole bunch of people saying afterwards, do you know you were doing this? Did you know you did that? And I'm like, no, I had no idea. I was just following my intuition. And quite often that's all we need to do. It's why we're going to Yucatan. And just now, more and more is dropping in about why we're going there now, which is super fascinating. Yeah. All right. Eddie is asking about, do you know how to tune in the radio frequencies that are beneficial, or have they already changed them to beneficial? So I would go with frequencies. Are you talking about like actually on the radio? Because I'm not so sure how many are beneficial. I'd have to do research on that. I don't listen to the radio much.
Are we talking AM or are we talking FM?
Yeah. More specifics there, Eddie, and we'll give you an answer.
That one is hard to pinpoint and pin down because so much is changing. You see, in your vibratory state, that determines what frequencies you're in. Okay. Your frequency is what raises your vibration. And what I mean by that is your vibration rises as you take in information that turns to knowledge, which will shift you into the wisdom because you're embodying. Okay. And in that embodiment, you're embodying it because your vibratory state rises, because you feel it within you, because you can feel that frequency affecting the body. Because like today, I'm high as a kite because my vibration is high, but I feel it from my toes all the way up to my crown, which means my toroidal field is expanded further than it has been. Not that it hasn't been expanding, but what happens is I'm expanding in it, out there more. And the larger your toroidal field is, the more frequencies you pick up on, which opens you up to receive the information, which propels you in your vibratory state of understanding. So it's not just about something you hear from a radio. You can have a general clue or idea as to what a frequency can be set from in a tone, but to understand what frequency truly stands for, it's the one that rises as you bring more clarity here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get what you're saying, Eddie. So you guys, if you can hear the truth, you can feel the truth. Nothing can stop the frequency that we are. Nothing. I can tell you, just on a sidebar note, because I am operating on a computer and I do have Wi-Fi in the room, that I use fluorite. And you can see the fluorite really cloudy on this side and then not where it wasn't facing it. So it's picking up something. because the area that's facing me is all clear and perfect. The area facing the computer is not. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Tango, we know you are. We can tell. we can feel your vibration.
You see, it's like right now. I mean, between Tanya and I, she vibrates at a level of a tonage that is set for who she is. I resonate at a tone and level within self of a frequency where I am. And what happens is those two frequencies come together that creates a tone that reverberates out, which all we seek to do is send out a resonance of the truth that we come into, to the understanding of who we are, which we only hope to assist you in that. In us putting that out there, we're hoping that frequency that we are emitting helps by tapping into that toroidal field that is around you.
Yeah.
That's what this is. That's the beauty of this process. And because y'all hold such a level of respect and love and discernment and understanding, that all we want to do is provide you with honesty and truth of what this place is, what it is, how to traverse it, then in that resonance, there's truth.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we move forward into this 2024, you've got this opportunity where somebody spent, one of the fellows I sent to Norma that she's been listening to since maybe August and downloading the information has activated her in ways. I listened to him and I'm like, yeah, I can't get the same thing you're getting because it's not the same resonance. Whereas I listen to something else, I'm like, boom, 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 boom. And then when we exchange, we activate each other with it. I way rather her shorthand on things because she's given me what I need to hear in really concise information. But it's activating her in ways that I don't get activated the same way. We're different that way. And so, yeah, absolutely. And so my wish for you as we move through this is, again, no criticizing, no negativity, no complaining. And what does that do for you? How does that shift you into observer mode? Because as we move through this and as things speed up, it's going to become a tornado. Be the eye of that storm. Be the eye of the storm. Careful where you insert your energy, because you will get caught up in that storm should you choose. And it's a choice that you get. Luna, absolutely. If you would like to connect, go ahead and I will reach out to you here. And I'm happy to give you some assistance on that. Yeah, I'll give you somewhere else to reach out to me so it'll be easier to connect. But I get that your rods are spinning in circles. They need some grounding. Can you stick them in dirt? And have you done that? And if you should also be grounded while using them. Otherwise the frequency's strong and they're going to keep spinning. It's better than them not moving. Yeah, calm as a cucumber. Be that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we're here to just be us. And as soon as something, doesn't allow for that, then it just doesn't resonate anymore. And that's okay too. So don't be afraid to let things go, even though it may seem really difficult and hard at the time. Even though it'd be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. But what is waiting around the corner that's even better? What's waiting for you as we move into 2024? I can tell you what I'm looking forward to. And it's a full up-leveling. It's a full embodying what I have known, and knowing that I can embody even faster now. What does that mean? That means I can move quicker through time and space to create my own reality. And that is what we want to guide you guys on as we get through this. But we certainly don't want to overwhelm you. So if anything, you have a question or you want to know more, pop it in there right now. We're gonna end this in about 5 minutes. So if you got any questions for us that are specific, you want to reach out, you can find us at Adventures for Connection. And the website's been posted. We can put it also on here. And you will be watching us bring in more people as we seek those that we resonate with, that I really feel will have benefits to you, to being able to grow in different ways. And so that you can benefit not only from what we know, but what the connections I have, because I am a connector. I'm a conscious connector. I have this ability to draw people in and hook them up together with like-minded people. And so we're already being asked to do more of this. And then that will be part of our inner collection as well. So we're back again on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we are going to call it the Inner Collective. And so bring your questions. We want you guys to be involved. Yeah, we would love to see you come and join us. So I know that we do weekly healings for those that need it. Some are free. Go to the website. You can see the whole calendar. It's going to show you everything on there. And as I drop into this next year with Norma, we're going to be doing more lives. Now, some will be just me. Like TikTok is more of my thing. I'm not even really saying it's my thing, but I navigate it quite well. Whereas a Facebook Live may have two of us on it. Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble will always be at the same time. But we're going to start these little daily lives just to get little concise messages out and allowing people to ask questions and doing some live group messaging and healing. So I have that capacity to support that way. And Norma has this beautiful way of words and understanding and sharing in a way that gives you another perspective that will be critical in moving forward. Yeah, it'll be critical in your ascension path, because what we're doing, we're returning back to ourselves. We're bringing you back to you. We're helping assist you in remembering who you truly are. And when you get there and you start to realize that, nothing can stop it. Once you got that, nothing can stop it. Yeah, nothing can stop it. Yeah. Luna says, so back to Luna's rods. I've not done that. I have a lot of water here, streams and winter waterfalls. Yeah, that could affect it. But stick them in dirt and ask them, okay, please ground. And I want you to only read my energy field. Please only read my energy field. And then start asking your questions that way. That will help as well. And let me know how it goes, but I will reach out to you directly. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
In Freedom Liberty Lover, of course. I mean, we can cover closing timelines, because I came into a little bit more information about that as well. So, and there's different there's so much to so many things here, y'all. So much. And we are so excited to be able to find, well, at least me, find ways to put this in formats of information to provide it where when we give this message, that the message that's being conveyed can be heard. And yeah, it's like saying, you keep saying, we don't want to fill you with too much, because then it just becomes confusing to a level and degree, because there's really everything has an order. Everything has an order. And so this is going to take a little bit of time. So just stick with us. Any and everything of the topics y'all want us to cover, we will. We may even start, doing some things on Telegram, maybe even Facebook, things like that, where we ask, what would you like for us to cover for this Sunday or this Tuesday, things like that. What do you feel about that, T?
Absolutely. We can do little polls, 100%. Yeah, I'm really happy to talk about closing timelines. I will say, most of your dreams that you are having, that you're like, wow, that's not my life, that's another da-da-da-da-da, that's mostly closing timelines. And I've been doing a ton of that at night, because rather than running around and collecting my energy, I'm just doing it at night. It's like, oh, we'll just do this. And so some of them are really vivid and very weird. and I wake up and I'm like, what the heck was that? But it's all it is. Closing those timelines. Yeah. Yeah. And baby steps, Luna. Absolutely. Yeah. Baby steps are a good thing, because when you put one foot in front of the other, you're less likely to fall. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hands yellow, heart red. Beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Kriba. Appreciate that. We're sending you all lots of love. And as you celebrate this closing, I know for one, I'm in bed before midnight. I can't stay up. I turn into a pumpkin. It's a very, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Freedom, liberty, your closing timelines, love. It's here. It's freedom, liberty, closing timelines in your dreams. Like, yeah. Yeah.
You'd be amazed.
Yeah.
There's so much to this, but it's so beautiful. It's so profound. And it
Yeah.
becomes fun after. Trust me, it becomes so much fun after so long, because when you get this so fully and so experientially, you'll begin to have fun. I give you my word. I give you my word. You will begin to have fun.
Absolutely. And Arlene, that's okay. Yes, you are made for this time. It's just that you're aware of something bigger. And so as we step into the course that you're involved in, absolutely, we will help you with this. We're very excited to. The biggest gift about this is seeing transformation in others. It lights me up so much. It brings me so much joy. And I just know that each of you is going to, in turn, get yourself lit up so much that others are going to ask, what are you doing? And so it goes on, because there's many of us here, and the only way to find them is through this resonance. Yeah.
Yeah, because you once you understand observer mode, then you step to the next level, and that's witnessing mode.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Arlene, you're not in another dimension per se. You are in the same timeline as everyone else and with everyone else, but you're aware of things in such a way that others are never aware of. And it's actually a gift, and we're going to show you why. So even though you feel you're confused, even though your body is, showing you some signs, we're going to show you how you can shift that. Okay? So no need to be confused.
Oh yeah.
You're right where you're supposed to be. We're very, very excited to see the shift in you. Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys, we love you very much. Like, share. If you know somebody that should hear this message, please share the video. We appreciate it. Yeah. And remember, no criticizing, no negativity, and no complaining. Try that and let me know how it goes. Yeah, absolutely. And always look at the big picture. Absolutely, Luna. We love you.